Hey you. So on this particular day, I found myself home alone, just a lovely quiet evening. And normally when I'm cooking, I would turn on some music or a podcast or something like that. But on this day, I decided I'm just going to cook quietly. And it was such a beautiful evening. Right here, I'm putting some dumplings into my pot with some Irish potatoes. And they're simmering away. So I really was thinking on this day about how sometimes we think we need stimulation all the time. I had even looked at some research about single tasking versus multitasking and which is better. And I truly find that when you can retrain your mind to focus on one thing at a time and truly enter into that thing and enjoy it, the sights and the sounds and the smells and the colors of that experience, it just makes it so much richer. Makes it feel like a richer life right there. There's something very grounding about giving one task all your attention. And that's what I did on this day. And I wonder why I haven't done it more often since then. So I think I'm going to get back there. But look at all those beautiful colors. My onion. Then I have the 3 different colors of bell peppers. My red and my yellow and my green. And I have my garlic going. And there was just no background noise. Nothing competing for my focus or my attention. It felt like just a beautiful moment of self-care, of just being with myself and being okay with being with myself. And I want to encourage you to do that sometimes with the tasks that you enjoy, even the ones that you don't enjoy sometimes. Just be with yourself in that task. And so doing this, you have less mental fatigue. You feel more satisfaction. And cooking is really one of those tasks that you can truly be present with. Sometimes you could put the podcast on or the music. I'm not saying those things are wrong, but sometimes what I find is we just overdo it. It's just all the time. We're playing music in the car or a podcast. We're listening to something. We're talking to someone on the phone. We're trying to work while we're driving. We're cooking. We're trying to do something else while we're cooking, As a mom, I may be cooking and helping somebody with homework at the same time. So there's just a few moments where it's just nice to just take that quiet time. So here I'm going to be preparing a can of salmon, and I'm sauteing my onions and my garlic and my bell pepper in a little olive oil to prepare for that, because today we're having our salmon with our dumplings and our potatoes and so on. So I'm adding some tomato paste here. I had a little bit that was frozen, so that's why it looks like that, because sometimes I don't use the whole can, I just freeze the rest. And by this point, the kitchen is smelling just delicious. There's nothing like the aroma of sauteing your aromatics. It's just one of the best smells in the world. Adding some jerk seasoning here. Add a little bit of spice, a little kick. I like that little kick. Oh, a little ketchup here. That one is on its way out, but a little bit of ketchup just for a touch of sweetness to the dish, not too much. I didn't have any tomatoes on this day, so my tomato paste and my ketchup are doing the job, and that's okay. Sometimes you're preparing a meal, you don't need to run to the store. Just use what you have and be content with what you have in the house. And that's what I chose to do on this day. Another thing I was thinking about, I just felt so cared for on this day. And self-care doesn't have to be this elaborate event. Sometimes we think it has to be this elaborate event of a spa day, and those things are great. I'm not saying adding some organic no salt seasoning here. I'm not saying those things aren't important. I think they're great. I think they're important and they're necessary. Sometimes you just go get your facial, your massage, your pedicure, your manicure, whatever it is that feels like self-care for you, to get that done. But self-care can very often be just making yourself a real meal. And instead of rushing through it, just enjoying. This meal did not even take me an hour to put together. I think I was done in about 30 minutes or so, 30, 40 minutes tops. Remember that when you're cooking, you're also nourishing your body. And that in and of itself is an act of kindness toward yourself. And therein goes my 7. And these quiet moments, they're a way of pouring into yourself, pouring into your spirit, and just taking a step away from the busyness of life. And all the stresses of life that drain you and that pull your energy away, just to stop and take a moment to just do this for yourself. And in my case, for my family as well, because I didn't eat it all. I shared. I was doing it for everybody, but I was enjoying just this moment of doing it on my own. Look at that bubble and that sizzle. We're putting it away to have all the flavors come together. And now I'm going to do some vegetables, because for me, a meal is not complete without the veggies. We need the veggies. And on this day, I just had a bag of chopped up kale and cabbage. And I decided that's going to be it. This was a very easy meal. Wasn't elaborate. There wasn't anything super out of the ordinary about it. It was a very simple, easy meal, but just prepared with so much love and so much care. And the ambiance I created for myself by not creating an ambiance, adding some liquid aminos here. We get our amino acids in. This is like a soy sauce alternative that we can use. So when you're cooking and you're kneading, as I was kneading my dumplings and chopping and stirring, it really quiets the mind. It really quiets the mind in a way that nothing else can do. Usually when I'm preparing veggies, I would have chopped up some more veggies, some more aromatics and so on. But today I just kept it simple with my soy sauce. I'm adding some garlic powder and some different spices, onion powder, just keeping it super easy and simple, because this was also at the end of a long day. It wasn't morning time. It was after a long day of work, and I just wanted it easy. But many times we think meditation is something you have to sit still to do. But sometimes while you're doing something, you can make it a very meditative process just by enjoying the quietness of it. And so cooking does teach us patience. And I just find my kitchen, if you're not a person who really cooks, take it up as a hobby. YouTube University is here to show you all kinds of different cultural dishes and cuisine. You can try this dish. This is not a recipe dish. This is a cook with your heart kind of dish. But your kitchen can be a place to retreat to. And I didn't make a big mess making this dish. I just dirtied my bowl that I used to knead my dumplings and my chopping board and my knife. I made sure not to make a big mess because it was a simple meal. And now I'm plating up for myself my veggies, my salmon, and my boiled provisions, my dumplings. Oh, and I added some ripe plantains to this as well. I didn't have that on camera, but I steamed some ripe plantains as well to add a touch of sweetness to my plate. And oh my goodness, this meal was so delicious. And it's just almost like a gift that I worked on, and then I get to sit. And I was intentional on this day too about sitting and enjoying this meal slowly. So I hope you'll take the time to do something like this for yourself and to recognize that these quiet moments are so important to calm the mind and calm the body and nurture the spirit. All right, with calm and care. See you next time.